Hey guys, welcome back. AURABOMB here, and it's about that time. Set 5 is coming out in about 2 weeks. We have, well, hold on. That's actually not true. We have pre-release next weekend, right? Oh yeah, so it is about 2 weeks. Yeah, sick. So we have Set 5 coming out in about 2 weeks. We're all very excited, especially me. If you guys don't know, I mentioned this before. Set 4, I've been playing Japanese formats since Set 3. And Set 4 was probably my least favorite format, and in English it wasn't really that much better. So for me, I'm really excited to be moving on to a different format. Set 5 is really great because it gives you more room for a lot more decks to be successful. And there's some really cool Digimon, some people's favorite, like my personal favorite, Shoutmon. I love Shoutmon. I think he's one of the best designed Digimon out there. And yeah, Lord Nightmon, of course, is busted. You have Lilith Loop, which is great. So I'm really excited about this. But if you guys are excited as well, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe. We're going to be talking about, I think the thumbnail says 15. It's more 17, but I say 15 because some of them are like the same deck, but different ideas. So 15 great decks for Set 5. These have all been tested. I played a lot of Set 5 format, and Set 5 format is the same. I believe, I don't think I'm incorrect about this, but I'm pretty sure Set 5 format will be the same card pool as Japanese format, because unlike Set 4 where we got those promos early, such as Grand Quagmon, Black War Greymon, we got those in Set 5 already. So there should be no differences. I know Set 5 eventually gets the memory boosters, but we're not going to get that until Set 6. But the first half of Set 5 format I played a lot, and this is going to be the same format as that. So all of these decks have been tested. They've come from my personal bank of decks that I played a lot with friends and in tournaments. So I love all these decks. These decks are all a lot of fun. They're all great. And if you're interested in any of them, well, this is the video for you. We're going to be talking about all 15 plus decks. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I know something like 60% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you guys want to check out, if you guys want to see more Digimon content from me, check out by subscribing and hit that like button. It's really appreciated. All right, let's go ahead and hop right into it. I apologize if I'm not going to be looking directly at the camera because I want to look at the screen for you guys. But let's start here with a Shoutmon deck. We're going to be going in order of color. This is going to be Shoutmon DX. I guess we'll go ahead and talk about Shoutmon and why it's really cool. Shoutmon DX here is a level 6 that can evolve over a level 6 if it wants to. As you can see, there's 2 evolution costs, a level of 4 costs to evolve for a level 5 and 2 costs to evolve for a level 6. So you can continue making the stack higher and higher, which is relevant for cards such as Tai. Tai can give you security attack +1 if you have 4 or more underneath you, which is nice because this card has a new keyword called Blitz. I think it's going to be called Blitz in English too, which means that if you evolve this Digimon and the memory goes over to your opponent's side, that Digimon can still attack. Think of Chaosmon, right? You know how Chaosmon can attack and you evolve into it and then it unsuspends and attacks. It does the same thing. This card does not unsuspend, which means you have to be unsuspended to attack, but you get to attack when you evolve into this guy, even if the memory counter goes over to your opponent's side. That means that you can pretty much be doing big swings no matter where you are in your memory. You can be having only one memory evolve into this guy and still be able to swing for big damage, especially since this guy has a pretty cool ability where you can put red Digimon from your hand under this card's Digivolution source as a Digivolution source. And red has a lot of really cool abilities. We have Pierce from Durandamon. Some of these other guys have really cool effects too, which we'll be talking about as well. Like Metal War Greymon, the secret rare from Set 1, gives you 3,000 more attack, which is an insane attack boost. And and then for each of your Omni Shoutmon or Z Greymon that you have underneath Shoutmon, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. So you know those 1-cost blockers instantly deleted, which means a lot of these people have to start playing heavy, like higher DP blockers just to deal with Shoutmon. Let's change the format in that way because this card is going to be good, at least top of tier 2, possibly tier 1, because it depends on how popular English players will make this deck, because at the end of the day it really depends on popularity. So Shoutmon DX, really powerful. As far as what it can do underneath, we do have Z Greymon, which means that if you have Blitz, you can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. So now this card all of a sudden becomes a removal option because you're probably going to have insane DP if you're going to have a bunch of guys underneath you, and you can attack your opponent's Digimon on the board and delete them. So assuming that assuming that they're not like an Omnimod or like a Lord Nightmon with a bunch of Digimon underneath, you could probably just beat over anything on your opponent's side of the board. I'm not playing Durandamon, but if you do play Durandamon, you then have Pierce as well. And Pierce means that you can check security while attacking over guys, which is really nice. And then you have Omni Shoutmon, which is really cool because this Digimon can evolve over a Shoutmon for 4 costs. So you can go from level 3, 5, 6, skipping the level 4 altogether, which sometimes is necessary. It helps with bricked hands. And that's one of my favorite things about set 5 is that there's set 5, yeah, this is set 5, not set 6. In set 5, because it gives you more options to deal with bricky hands, and if you have Blitz, it gives you security attack +1. So if you have Tai and Omni Shoutmon underneath, you do have security attack +1. And these are the 2 guys that you need to make sure you delete some dudes with Shoutmon here. And then of course you can end it all off with Omnimod here, which also has Blitz, but just like Chaosmon, it unsuspends first. So you can attack, do a bunch of security checks, evolve into Omnimod, which will unsuspend and attack your opponent's security for games sometimes. It's really good for Shoutmon because Shoutmon has the ability to check like 1, 2, 3, 4 security or more if you put like a volcanic Dramon or something like that underneath it as well, checking 4, 5 security checks in 1 turn, and then you evolve into Omnimod to win the game. Of course, we are playing a delicate plan because in English speaking countries they love security control, and everything else is pretty standard stuff. Metal Greymon is here because it gives you 3000 DP, which will help you beat over a lot of dudes. Not always the most important thing in the world, but it's pretty big. There are some pretty big guys in this format. And of course we have Shoutmon, kind of the linchpin to all of this. It's a searcher. Being able to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and add 1 Digimon with Shoutmon in its name and 1 Digimon with Blitz. So it's similar to Ragnar Lordmon in that sense, and we all like the consistency that these cards can offer you. And yeah, that's it for this deck. And then we're going to move on to the second deck. I'm just going to close out of these, so hopefully I don't need them again. But in the second deck, it's the same thing, but with a different combo. It's all the same stuff as far as like you're playing Omni Shoutmon to do Omni Shoutmon things, but you also play this little package right here, which this is the wrong Omnimon as well. So give me 1 second. That is incorrect. It's supposed to be set 1 Omnimon. So let me go ahead and throw that in. All right, 1 and 2. All right, cool. Set 1 Omnimod. So now you're going to be playing Mega Digimon Fusion. This is going to be a common card you see in a lot of these combo decks because this is a really, really cool card. It gives you the ability to evolve into your level 7 from a level 6 with a reduced evolution cost of 6, and the most expensive evolution card in the game is 6. So that means that if you have a white tamer in play, then you can evolve. Then you can play Mega Digimon Fusion and then able to evolve into any of your Omnimon in your hand for free, which is great whenever you have a card like this Omnimon right here, which not only gives you the ability to remove something on the board, but also lets you attack twice that same turn if you're not suspended already, which you're usually not going to be because you're going to be evolving for free thanks to Mega Digimon Fusion here. And then you still have high security checks because you're going to be playing stuff like I guess in this case, just the Greymon. There's no other card that gives you a high security check because this only works if you have Blitz, which is true for this, I suppose. But you don't mind moving the memory counter over for this Omnimon. This is just another way to close out the game. But there is another card in this deck that gives you high security check, which is Tai Kamiya and Matt Ishida, our first dual tamer. First dual tamer we're going to be seeing in this video, which all of your Omnimon all of your Digimon with Omnimon get security attack +1. I apologize for that. And which means that this Omnimon here can attack twice for usually +2 security. So you can check all your opponent's security in 1 turn, which is really nice. And then you have Takumi, which is just another great card, especially for these evolution-based decks, because if you evolve one of your Digimon on the board, then you just get to draw an extra card, which is nice. And then all level 3 Digimon with when attacking, all level 3 Digimon gain when attacking lose 1 memory, which means that your opponent can't rush you with a Rookie Rush style deck as easily. They have to play around that a lot. So yeah, I like this as well. The only problem with these decks as opposed to the simple Omnimon list we looked at earlier is that you have to find one of these white tamers before you play Mega Digimon Fusion. But overall, it gives you a much bigger payoff and another way to win the game. So more options to win the game is always nice. And the last red deck I believe we're going to be looking at today is going to be Nokia Greymon red. I don't really know what to call this deck, but it's another one of these Greymon decks that abuse the fact that you are a Greymon. Ignore the artwork. I couldn't find the other artwork on DigimonCard.dev, which by the way, shout out to DigimonCard.dev as always for being a great website. But yeah, so over here we're playing a bunch of Agumons, and the reason why is because we have another white tamer called Nokia Shiramine, I think is how you say her name. You may play one Agumon or Gabumon from your hand without paying its memory cost. I do not have the blue version of Nokia, so just keep in mind, but that does exist. I just haven't built it myself yet. It has a main effect of when digivolving one of your Digimon into a Digimon card in your hand with Garurumon, Omnimon, or Greymon, other than the other Greymons that aren't allowed. You may suspend this Digimon tamer to reduce the memory cost of the Digivolution by 1. So in an ideal world, you get 2 or 3 of these down, and then you just reduce evolutions, and then you're able to like spam up into some big guys, which is really, really nice. It can also help your Omnimon be reduced. If you have like 3 of these on board, and as well as a Marcus, you can evolve this for only 3 memory, which is really nice. We still have Mega Digimon Fusion, because why wouldn't we? We already are maining the Nokia. We are playing 3 of these Omnimon, 1 of these. We have Victory, we have Blitz, we have War Greymon, just for those security control decks. We have a bunch of other cards, but there's no really, in my opinion, great level 5 Greymon. Because the only one that's like decent is Rise Greymon to play this Marcus, but there's only 1 Marcus. Maybe if you increase the Marcus count, you could probably play Rise Greymon. But I like the 2 costs because it's guaranteed. Besides, we're going to be reducing the evolution cost after evolving into Lava Greedamon, into these War Greymons and stuff like that. So in my opinion, I don't think it's really that necessary. And in this meta too, there's a lot less War Greymon, because you're going to be seeing Lord Nightmon instead most of the time. So playing these 6000 DP guys is a lot safer in this format, and unless, you know, English countries want to speak I want to speak English. English-speaking countries want to play War Greymon more, which is, you know, it's really depending on how the players decide the format. But for the most part, I think, in my opinion, this will be a lot safer to play. So playing more of these is going to be nice. We still have this Greymon. This is a new Greymon here, which reduces the evolution cost from an Agumon by 1, which means it's a 1 cost evolve with the ability to gain 2000 DP, which is really, really nice. You know, of course, mix around what numbers of these Greymons you want to play. And you see me playing a lot of these 6k DP blockers because I want to play around Rise Shoutmon, I mean. So make sure, you know, something to keep in mind when you're deck building is that 6000 DP is a much safer number than 5000 DP. It's just in our case, there's not a lot of Greymons with 5000 DP, and I still want to be able to evolve for cheap. Because in the end of the day, our goal is to evolve really high, really quickly once we get to late game thanks to Nokia. So Nokia is a cool card. Not really sure how much better this will be than Omnimon. I think Omnimon, or Shoutmon, I think Shoutmon will still be a superior red deck, but this deck is really strong too, and it's much easier to get to your Omnimon top end for like big OTK turns because of how powerful Nokia really is. So that's gonna be it for the red decks. Let's go ahead and move on to the blue decks. We have quite a few here, and I want to see. Okay, this is one I want to look at in a second. The first one I want to look at here is everyone's favorite Digimon, Ulforce Vidramon. But this is going to be a Hex. I call this deck Hex Force. It's probably my favorite blue deck I've played, like just in general, like ever. I love Hex Force. I think it's a great deck. We'll go ahead and talk about the bottom end first. We have Hexablaumon, one of our brand new blue Digimon. This card lets you trash the bottom 2 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if that Digimon has no Digivolution cards, this Digimon gains jamming. Awesome already. And all of your opponent's Digimon without Digivolution cards cannot attack or block. Obviously, your opponent can play around this to an extent because when it's their turn, they can evolve things. But obviously, they're limited to what their hand can have. So it's not always the easiest thing to play around. And removing Digivolution sources now became a lot better. We also play 4 Sora and Joe. Removing Digivolution sources in general is going to be really strong because a lot of the best effects in the game come from Digivolution sources, and this memory tamer is insane. If your opponent has the Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, gain 2 memory. So automatically, if your opponent just hard play Digimon on the board while you have this Sora on play without evolving it, then you just get a +2 memory during your turn, and that stacks. Blue has the potential of having like 10 memory pretty much every turn thanks to Sora. It's so insane. And then whenever you attack, you may suspend this tamer to trash up the 2 Digivolution cards from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon, which pairs well with Ulforce, because whenever you suspend the tamer, you can unsuspend this Digimon for multiple attacks, and this becomes a lot easier thanks to this tamer. We still play as a 2-of because, like, at the end of the day, Hexablau is just really consistent and strong, but still, oh, I don't know what this card is. Garurumon. I don't know why it's giving me the white stuff. but we'll take a look at where Greymon actually. But All Force we're still playing. I'm sorry, I meant 3 of, because Hexablow is still kind of like the end goal here. But because we have these multiple attacking jamming situations, we can play some really strong Digimon that give you increased security attack. This where Greymon gives you +1 security if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution sources, and thanks to things like you know, the powerful Hex and Sora, that's really easy. So try to get yourself 4 of these if you're planning to play blue. And of course we do have the new one here, which does the same thing. If your opponent has Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, this Digimon gains security attack +1. So this thing can attack multiple times. If you have like 2 Soras in play, you can attack 3 times with security attack +1, which is kind of nuts. I'm not playing the jamming VMons or anything like that, the ones that give you jamming, because I just rather have higher security checks, honestly. And then of course you can end the game by evolving into Blitzboy. So shout out to Omnimod Blitz for being amazing. We still have Grizzlymon, a mix of Grizzly and the new 1-cost blue blocker. Excuse me. And we still have Lobomon, XVmon. We're still playing all the good blue cards, but now we have even better blue cards that we can abuse thanks to the system, which is Gomamon. Get yourself these Gomamons now, people. They're gonna get expensive later if they're not already expensive. When a Digivolution source is discarded from one of your opponent's Digimon, gain a memory. So another way to just keep your turns going and going and going. And Gabumon also discards Digivolution sources. This is kind of just like a small addition to the deck. It's really overall probably unnecessary, but it does help if you have like Gomamon and this, and they're both level 4s and stuff like that. It can help push some plays here and there. Blucomon does the same thing, but Blucomon is 4 costs to play, and it's also once per turn. And this is also once per turn, but it's 3 costs to play. It does have only 1k DP though, so things to keep in mind. We're still playing Vmon, Elecmon, and we're playing the new Bukamon. You don't really have to play this. I just like having more ways to discard sticky trash, but at the end of the day, this and Gabumon, completely unnecessary. You can probably dump them both for like Demi Vmon, because you do have jamming dudes in this game, and you can place this with any level 3. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. But that's it for that deck. We also have one that's not as focused on playing as many tamers as well. Whoops, I clicked the wrong button. There we go. All right. We also have this list as well. It's kind of the same thing. You're still playing all the cards that I was playing in the other deck, but we're not playing All Force. Instead, we're playing some Vikemons, and we have some added consistency in the likes of Davis. And we have 4 Sora here. You really don't need 4 in this list. In fact, I believe at the end of the day, when I was playing this list, I was only playing 2 of these Soras, and I replaced them with like 2 more Hammer Sparks. So you can probably do something along the lines of that. But I am playing Vikemon in this list because it's 4 costs to evolve, but it's easy to reach that number thanks to Sora and Davis together. And while your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, this Digimon gets 1000 DP and security attack +1. So in this case, you become a 13k beater with security attack +2, because you're usually going to have one of these guys underneath. But even if you don't have one of these guys underneath and you're forced to hard play this card, like Mega Zoo style, your hand just sucks, it still gets these benefits of security attack +1 and 13k DP without anything underneath, which is really nice, because sometimes it is kind of annoying. Blue ends up having to hard play a lot just to play around things. Like Hexablow is a really good hard play target because it still has its jamming, and Digimon can't attack or block. So if your opponent has a big board of like rookies, then you can just hard play Hexablow, and they're forced to play around that, which is really, really good for you if you don't like Rookie Rush, because I know a lot of people hate Rookie Rush. But yeah, this is not really different than the other deck we just looked at before, so we'll go ahead and close out these guys. And one last deck, just because it's not really that different, but does get a pretty big buff thanks to Omnimod, and that is good old Imperial German. I mean, it's not really anything special here. I'm not going to talk about this deck for too long, but Omnimod is a huge buff to Imperial German because it just adds an extra attack that can finish the game for you. So that's really, it's a huge buff. If you already like Imperial German, then you'll love Omnimod and the Imperial German. So we're going to go ahead and move on there. Now to start talking about some of the yellow decks, we're going to start with, of course, everyone's most anticipated deck, Lord Nightmon. This is my list, but Lord Nightmon is the most versatile. Just like how yellow is versatile now, where you play 4 War Graves, but like you choose if you want to play Slash, if you want to play Maestamon, if you want to play Magnadramon. It's the same thing. This is the list I'm playing because it's as vanilla as it gets. It's nothing special. But if you guys want to try out something of your own kind, then obviously it's really easy to edit all of these lists, not just this list, but all of them, because these are all supposed to be shells for you. They're not supposed to be, hey, look at my list, play this list. It's just you know, try out what you want to try out. But Lord Nightmon has when attacking, play level 3 Digimon card or yellow Digimon with Warrior in its type without paying its memory cost. The only one that really matters to is Nightmon. It's the best one because on play, delete something with 4000 DP, or reduce something by 4000 DP, which pairs well with obviously Slash Angemon, because you just immediately after you attack, you evolve into the Slash Angemon, and then you delete something with 12,000 DP combined. Then we have War Groundmon, which on evolution can do the Digiburst stuff. So this is going to be the same as before. We're reducing a lot of DP, but instead of attacking and taking your own security and restanding and putting yourself in that really weird situation where you're constantly discarding your own security and having to recover it all the time, you don't have to do that because Lord Nightmon doesn't have to worry about any of those things. You just get to make your board wider. And it's also other ability, which is for each of your other Digimon in play, this Digimon gets 1000 DP, is really strong because this thing can become huge, because this deck is all about becoming wide. This deck is insanely wide. And then of course you can combine that with a really strong removal card that Yellow's been missing, which is Spiral Masquerade. And for each of your Digimon you have in play, you can reduce something by 3000 DP, which means that if you have 4 Digimon in play, which is once again really easy when it comes to these yellow decks, once you get Lord Nightmon out, then boom, you can delete something with 12k DP, 15k if you have 5, etc, etc. And as far as the new cards that we play, we are playing the Searcher Kodomon, which reveals for the top 5 cards of your deck and adds 2 Digimon with Warrior or Holy Warrior, which means we have a way to search for level 6s, being just Lord Nightmon and Nightmon really. Which is huge though, because like we didn't have a searcher for yellow, and yellow could sometimes brick. So having a searcher is really nice. I'm playing 2. I'm a huge advocate for 4 Bushiagumon. So if you can make space for 4 Bushiagumon, do it. If you don't want to play Lucemon, obviously cut the Lucemon, play Bushi. Bushi's insane. Bushi's just a nutty card. It's always going to be a nutty card. But we also have a new nutty card, another removal card in Starmon. For each Digimon you have in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1k DP for the turn. So obviously you can pair that with the Nightmon and the whatnot and the Slash Angemon and all that good jazz. So more DP reduction, of course. Also, if you don't have Pulsemons, I know Pulsemons are expensive. Just play those Bushis, dude. Easy replacements. Play Bushis. You still want to make sure you have more Digimon that are easy enough to hard play though, if you want to make your board wider. But I'm playing 4 Tsururimon, 3 Pitamon, 4 Unimon. Once again, I did mention before, this deck is really good for playing around Shaman because you have so many things that are above 5000 DP in your deck when it comes to level 4s. And then the level 5s, I'm still playing 1 Angelwomon. You don't really have to play this. This could be literally just another War Groundmon. I just like having the ability to stun here and there, and then of course being able to summon multiple guys on the board is really nice, combined with Spiral Masquerade, TKs, Chaosmon, etc, etc. This deck's going to be insane. If you're looking to play another tier 1 deck, there we go. This deck's insane. Another really insane deck, which is just one of my favorites, is Mastermind. Mastermind is not really much different. As you can tell, I've been playing a lot of Mastermind. Really, Mastermind just gets Starmon and Spiral Masquerade, but to be fair, these are the 2 most important cards that Mastermind needed. Mastermind has not had really good removal in a while. Like you can play Edens, but Edens is kind of trash. So being able to have access to Spiral Masquerade, have access to Starmon is kind of huge for the Mastermind archetype. And once again, like the format is rife with like strong security, so Mastermind is always in a good position. As far as the level 6s, I need to test this myself because I didn't play a lot of Mastermind in set 5. I played it a lot in English set 4 because I loved it in English set 4, but I never played it in set 5. So this is just me theory crafting here, but I love Mastermind. I think it's probably my favorite deck I've ever played in like the English format so far. And I played like I pretty much invented Ragnazu, dude. So like as far as like my favorite decks in set 5, this is definitely up there. So yeah, moving on to the next set. Shout out to my buddy Russ. He loves Rookie Rush decks. This is the new era of Rookie Rush, yellow green Rookie Rush. Why do we play yellow green Rookie Rush? Well, because yellow has Spiral Masquerade, and that's just nuts. So being able to once again have a really strong removal option in yellow is really good. You can still play standard stuff. Like I'm not playing Puppetmon, but you can easily play Puppetmon in this list. All I know is that I haven't played a lot of this deck list, but I've looked at the successful list, and the successful list don't play Puppetmon very often. Some of them do, most of them don't, so I don't bother. But yeah, I mean, this is just Rookie Rush with a new color paint. We have Salamon for recovery, Fudomon lets you draw cards, you get 4 less in your hand, which keeps your hand kind of consistent. Lotmon lets you essentially draw 2 cards at the cost of security, which when you're rushing your opponent down, you really don't care how low your security gets if you win the following turn. We still obviously have Bushi Agumon for the big rush turns. We're not playing a Tamer, so I might have to play TKs in here. I'm pretty sure they play TKs, so I think that's just me forgetting to play TKs. So play TKs. Yeah, definitely play TKs in your list if you're going to be playing Bushi Agumon. That is my bad. What do I cut? I'm going to cut something right now. This one is your opponent can't reduce its evolution cost. This is like a tech card. I'm going to take this out. Take out that card, and I really want to keep the Turimon for evolution draws, and of course these guys are just nuts. So we're going to take out 1 Salamon and put in 3 TKs right now. So my bad for forgetting TK. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, so it got TK, Spiral Masquerade, Blinding Ray. Blinding Ray is great with TK because you can obviously play Blinding Ray, go up to 5 memory, and then slam down a Bushi and attack for game, because that's what Bushi does. And Pulsemon, Starmon, your board gets pretty wide, so Starmon's good. And of course, security being strong in both Spiral Masquerade and of course Flower Cannon. Overall, great deck. It's, if you like Rookie Rush, this is the new age Rookie Rush. You can still play Blue-Green. Blue-Green isn't that much different if you're looking to play Blue-Green instead, but I like this deck a lot. Blue-Green is actually great if you play Sora, because obviously you are attacking blue boys a lot, and Sora gives you that extra 2 memory, which is nice. So some more options for you. But yeah, that's Rookie Rush right there. Let's move on to the green deck. Now, green is green is green is green. Green will always be green. There's a billion ways to play green. I'm not going to look at all of those. I'm just going to look at the new card that I think is interesting and I like playing. But first things first, just in case you're wondering what that card is behind my face, we have Terriermon here, which is Digiburst, draw a card. Or Digiburst, reveal the top card of your deck if it's a green Digimon added to your hand, otherwise placed on the bottom of your deck. Just like Tentomon. There's more ways to draw cards. You play Tentomon, you play Terriermon. Terriermon is Digiburst 1, so you have to evolve into it first, but whoa, my bad. There's a lot less emphasis on Digiburst in this set, in this deck, so it's not that big of a deal. Everything else is kind of standard deck. We got the new Palmon here, which is on deletion, places under a Digimon, so you get more Digiburst additives there. We also have a new Weedmon here, another 4 cost to play champion, which is nice. And when this card is trash, you Digiburst, gain a memory. So we have more ways to, you know, take advantage of Digiburst. This is better because of less War Greymon in the format, so I like Argomon a little bit more. Lilithmon, really you can play any level 5 you want. Like, obviously you play these because of Nidhoggmon, but this level 5 can be replaced with anything. I just like resting because we have some. I play Mega Gargomon personally, and I've been loving Mega Gargomon. Spend one of your opponent's Digimon and blah, 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 blah. It's more stunning because this is a stun-based deck that uses Reflexiamon. Reflexiamon has Digiburst 2. All of your Digimon gain plus 2000 DP for the turn, which is great just for attacking with your weaker Digimon. But all of your but once per turn, when your Digimon uses Digiburst, one of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack or block. So more stunning potential. It's kind of like pseudo Puppetmon, and it's another one of these Digimon that can evolve from a level 6 as well. So 3 costs to evolve from level 5, 1 cost to evolve from level 6, just to make your stack even bigger for more Digiburst potential. We're playing Flower Cannon, Hidden Potential, still playing Nidhogg, Mimi, and Whistling is one of my favorite cards. I need this card to see more play. It's so cool. Up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack or block to the end of your opponent's next turn. Then if you have a Digimon with Digiburst, gain 2 memory. So this can be a 4 cost to play stun as well to pair with your other stunning that you're doing. So making your opponent never able to attack while also chipping away at them is just really cool. My favorite way to play green. So that is the green deck. There's obviously Grand Quagga, there's Bancho Stingmon, there's still a Hercules Terriermon. There's a million different green cards you can play, but this is the one I like the most at the moment. So that's why I'm only going to show that one. Now we're going to show off a bunch of really interesting decks, starting with my favorite version of Megazoo. This is going to be Black Megazoo. So I'm playing a one-of this card here. It's once again, your opponent cannot reduce the Digivolution cards, and this thing also gives all other Gasmon 3000 DP, but we're only playing 1, so we don't have to worry about it. But making sure your opponent can't reduce Digivolution cards can sometimes be necessary. And really, I'm only playing it because I'm playing the red eggs, which you don't see in here, but play any red egg you want, any 4 red eggs that you want, or really just 2, right, if you're only playing one of these. But Black has so many insane level 7s, and Tai Kamiya and Matt Ishida is an insane card. I didn't mention this before, but it does have another ability. If your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon in play, you gain 2 memory. In a Mega Zoo deck, your opponent will be evolving up to level 6s pretty easily, so you can actually punish them by gaining a lot of memory, and you gain a lot of memory if they have a level 6 on play. And especially since you're security, they're going to be hitting these cards off security as well, is really strong. We're playing Tai. I'm choosing to play Tai over Izzy because you have a lot of blockers in this deck, so being able to increase your blocking ability, and it plays around yellow a lot because they all can reduce DP, but if your DP is higher during their turn, it becomes a lot harder for them to delete your guys. And of course, you're playing all the Omnis. Look at all these Omnis, they're beautiful. But of course, as far as the red part goes, we're playing Transcendent Sword, another removal card. If you have a Digimon with 11k, you can delete something with 11k DP or less, but if you have an Omnimon, Greymon, other than the other bad Greymons, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon 15,000 DP or less instead. So 7 cost Gaia Force, essentially. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as Gaia Force because you're kind of dependent on how high your opponent's DP is, but more security that can be hit off the security as well. More options that can be hit off security. There's some other decent black cards as well that are brand new, which is one I want to show you guys because some people play this card. I personally don't play it, but it is an option you can play. I forget what it's called in English, but it's really, really cool. It's here it is, Ultimate Flare. Ultimate Flare lets you trigger Digivolve 3 on one of your opponent's Digimon and delete all of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 3 or less. So that's pretty big for a removal, like if you're playing against Rookie Rush. I am playing Alter S, which kind of does the same thing, but obviously it's not an option card. So if you want to remove the Alter S's because you feel like there's too many, you can obviously put in 2 of those Ultimate Flares as well. But we have new Omnimons to look at. First of all, Zwart Defeat, which is kind of like the linchpin of this deck. It's a security card. You can play this without battling or yada yada yada. So it's a security effect. I shouldn't say yada yada yada. Security is when you can play this card without battle and from onto your security without paying memory cost. So if your opponent hits it off security, they don't die, but you do get to play it. On Digivolution, you can delete a Tamer, which is really cool because there's a lot of really strong Tamers now that we gotta get rid of. And then on deletion, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. So once again, if this thing attacks security and dies, you don't care because you can just delete something on your way out. We have Zwart here, which can play a level 4 and level 5 from your trash. So when Digivolving, trash the top 3 cards of your deck, then you may play up to 2 black or purple Digimon card that has a play cost of 8 or less from your trash without paying the memory cost. You can play 2 level 5s, 2 level 4s, anything below level 5 really. And then you may return 1 level 6 Digimon card from this Digimon's Digivolution card when attacking to delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon that has a play cost of 12 or less. So another deletion. They have to be unsuspended though, which means they have to be active. And of course we have Alter S. We do have some blockers in here. We have Bancho Golemon. When your opponent has a big board, you get 3,000 more DP. Once again, these are just kind of cards to play around yellow because yellow is like the best deck in format. And being able to play a bunch of these ties to give these your top end plus security checks, as well as being able to stop your opponent from taking all of your security is really strong. Craniumon here, we all know what Craniumon does, prevents your blockers from being destroyed, is a blocker itself. This can give your Omnimons blockers so that you can stop them from being destroyed. Hyadramon is just 10 cost to play Rookie, or Ultimate Mega. I went through the whole list. Then we have Andromon being your level 5 that you can play off Zwart, and you have Mecha Norimon. Mecha Norimon is really, really cool because it's a blocker that can keep blocking because it has the ability of unsuspending when it successfully deletes something off blocking, but it can't attack. So when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, unsuspend it. So yeah, every time it blocks something, you get to unsuspend. So if you're playing against Rookie Rush, you just kind of slam this boy down and say make a move because they can't do anything unless they delete you with Spiral Masquerade, which is insane. Obviously, one card that's not in here that you can easily throw in here is Magnadramon, just to recover security in case your security gets too low. Because you're playing blockers, it's not going to be as easy as your opponent will think. But if you want to cut, once again, Alter S is always my flex spot. You have 8 Omnimons already. You probably don't need Alter S, but you really want to find these Omnimons. But the games will be going longer because you are a blocker deck. So flex spot for me will always be Alter S. You kind of need the Andromon if you're going to be playing Zwart. If you don't want to play Zwart, you can cut the Zwart, play more Alter S and cut these guys, although Mechanorimon is just a really strong card, so I recommend playing that. Other than that, I love Black Omni. I think Black Zoo is probably one of my favorite decks in this format, for sure. I just love these like fringe style of decks. But let's go ahead and move on to the next deck. There's so many decks I'm really excited to play. This is new D Brigade. I like I have a newfound respect for D Brigade. I like how D Brigade can like push itself up to level 7s really quickly and really just really quickly. That's all there really is to it. I like the ability to go from an empty board to a Darkdramon and evolve that Darkdramon into a level 7 just like that. It's really, really strong for that. Being able to get a random level 7 on board is great. So we're playing all the Commandramons. We do have a new one here that has blocker, but it can't attack. No, this one can attack, but it has blocker. It's 4 cost of play, so I'm playing less of it. But if you want to play more of this and less of this, you can. I like having more of this though, because this card essentially has 7k DP if you have Sumemon on the board, which, you know, if you have a Digimon with the same name, it gets 2,000 more DP. 7k DP survives security quite a bit whenever it's checking, which is really cool. Then you play all the other blockers. But if you want to play less of one blocker and play another one of these, obviously this is, you have to have 3 up. I like this as a 2 cost to play, so I like to have 3 of these. So really it's just depending on which one you want to play more. Or maybe you can cut something here and just play a 4 and have 16 Commandramon, which is not bad. And now here's the fun part for me, is the security part of Commandramon. So really, I like the idea of playing. This is not something I've done yet, but maybe in the future I'll try this out. Kind of like Commandramon Control, where you play a bunch of security cards that are really powerful, and then you play Commandramon and just cut the Tankmon all together. I actually don't think I like Tankmon at all, really. So maybe consider cutting that out. But we are playing some really interesting level 4s here. We have the Garurumon and the Shademon. These are both Digimon that when they get checked in security, hit the board. So the reason why I'm playing that is for that reason alone. Just extra draw as well as far as a level 4 goes. But yeah, being able to play a deck like Commandramon that's already wide in general, and run the risk of your opponent making it wider. Sealsdramon is obviously a D Brigade card, which is why you play that. And then Shademon is a brand new card. It's a blocker, but it can't attack, unfortunately. But it is a blocker that does have the ability of being a security Digimon that can hit the board as well. So Black has probably the most security Digimon now. We're still playing Tank because we are playing some level 4, so might as well. Where Monzemon and Crest Garurumon. This is the Crest Garurumon build of D Brigade that I like. I think Crest Garurumon and D Brigade are beautiful together. They do the most, being able to make your board even wider while also having a reboot guy that can evolve into Zwart. And Zwart is another security Digimon, so you have 3 plus 8, that's what, like 11 security Digimon. We are playing for Izzy because Izzy and D Brigade are just hand in hand great, and we are playing some ties as well to make our memory bigger and also increase our Omnimon's ability to check security. And this is not something I've tried personally, but if you want to, you can cut the Garuru. You could probably cut Tank. You can cut the entire Tank Crest War package. That's 3, 6, 10 cards, and just play something like Magnadramon, 8 Magnadramon, and like 6 option cards that are really strong. And if you want to play even more option cards, you can cut out the Garurumon as well, and maybe cut out Tai. Play something like the red tie and play all the deletion cards like Gaia Force and Sword, which means that you would need like 10 slots. So really you can go from 10 to 12 slots, right? Because you need 8 and 8 plus 4, which is 12 slots, plus another 2/3/4, so 16 slots altogether, and you have a guaranteed 3, 6, 10. Because Tankdramon, as cool as Tankdramon is, it's really unnecessary in the scheme of things. 3, 6, 10, 14 slots right there. So yeah, you can already play like 4 of everything and then 2 ties if you want to. You can even cut Shademon a little bit to increase your ties, or Izzy to increase the ties. So I like the idea. I haven't tried it yet, but maybe something you can consider. It's kind of like playing Rookie Rush plus Security Control at the same time. It's really powerful. The only reason why I'm mentioning this is because in set 6 format, I've seen some D Brigade lists be successful doing that exact strategy. And set 6 format is kind of different because it's kind of got like this trifecta of Rush versus Evolution Destruction versus Security Control versus Mega Zoo Control kind of style. Those are like the main strategies. So in that in that format, it does very successful. It could be very successful here. Not something I have built, but something you can try out yourself. I'm definitely gonna try it out myself. But that's it for that list. And then the last black list is, of course, everyone's favorite deck they want to try the most, which is Abomamont. I tried to minimize. I think if you're going to play this deck, you probably want to have 2 of these guys. I don't think you actually want as many. People think they want to play 4. The list usually will only play 2. It's actually not as amazing as you think it is. Another thing that's not as amazing that you think it is, but I put it in for the sake of the video, which is going to be Armageddon. Armageddon is really unnecessary to the strategy, but you can very easily play it if you want to. When playing this card from your hand, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon to reduce its play cost by 12. One of your Abomamont to reduce its play cost by 12. So you can delete one of your Abomamont tokens, play this down for 3 costs, and also have Rush similar to Darkdramon. And all turns, all level 7 Digimon do not activate their when Digivolving effects. So if you're really concerned about Omnimons, Chaosmon, stuff like that, you can easily play the Armageddon. Ultimate Flare is just a good removal card in black as well. Errata lets you make more tokens, as well as Digimon if you have, and also gains you extra memory here and there. So Errata is good. Errata you definitely want to play as a 4 of in these Abomamont decks. And then everything else is just play the unidentified Digimon, which is Caramons and Shademon and stuff like that. So pretty much everything in this deck is unidentified. This is reveal top 5 cards of your deck, add a Digimon card with unidentified, which is pretty much the majority of the deck, and an Errata from your hand. That's really cool. Another searcher. This guy gives you the ability to draw a card whenever you play Digimon with the same name, which means if you could spawn a token with a Abomamont on board, you get to make another one. And then you have Commandramon. I'm playing this because it's just 2 costs to play, really. You can really play anything you want there. But I am playing that over this Caramon. Caramon is pretty pricey as well, so I tried to reduce the amount that's in this deck. But if you have all 4 Caramons, you might as well play them, really. It's just more unidentified guys. I just really value having 2 costs to play dudes because you really want to make this deck wide to make sure you can cover a bunch of different options. As far as the level 4s go, we're playing Kurisarimon. When you play another Digimon with the same name, you can gain a memory. Once again, gaining memory whenever you spawn a token is nice. All Digimon that have the same name gain Rush, so whenever you spawn a token, it can attack the same turn, so it does another one of these big security control kind of style decks. We are playing Shademon because it's also unidentified, so it works with Errata and everything like that. And then we're playing Kurisarimon as another blocker. I know this Kurisarimon can be expensive, so really you can just play 5 of this, but this is a 4 cost to play, which is why, I'm sorry, I didn't mean 5, I meant 4. But this is a 4 cost to play, which is really nice. It's super cheap for a blocker. As far as level 5s go, there's always an ongoing debate which Infirmon is better. This one is when Digivolving into a Abomamont, reduce the ability cost by 1, which is kind of big, I'm not going to lie. Especially if you're going to play set 1 Abomamont, which is not a great card in the Abomamont strategy, but it is an option. And then you have Infirmon here. Infirmon is cool because you can Digivolve your Caramon into the Infirmon. It's actually really interesting if you're playing black decks because you can kind of skip an evolution line, similar to Shoutmon, which helps add consistency to the deck list. But its ESS is on deletion play a Abomamont token, so that's pretty handy as well. And then of course Warmonzemon, because it's 2 to evolve, it's best of both worlds. And then you got Abomamont, the new Abomamont here, which lets you spawn a token when Digivolving, which is just nice. It's essentially 2 Digimon for 1, which is the main reason why we play it. And then we have all the other cards we mentioned earlier. So the Abomamont deck, this is probably the deck that I've seen be the most successful, the list I've seen be the most successful, minus some of the Armageddonmons. You can cut some cards to add more of other stuff if you really don't want to play the Armageddonmon, or if you want to play the Armageddonmon. I think the Armageddonmon is useful because obviously there's a lot of really strong level 7s in the game now. Being able to turn off Blitz Omnimon is really powerful as well. That's pretty cool. Of course, Blitz is not a win Digivolving effect, which means that they can still use it, but they have to be unsuspended already. So that's pretty cool. And then the last and not least, I have 3 purple decks for you guys, for all my purple fans out there, and I know I have quite a few friends that love purple. And that is we're going to start with, which one is this one? The Lilith Loop deck, probably my favorite deck, my favorite purple deck. Lilith Loop is such an insane deck because you can have some really long turns where you end your board with like 5, 6, 7 Digimon. I need to make a video. I'll make a video eventually describing and playing the Lilith Loop so you guys can understand what it's like. But Lilith Loop is insane. So let me go over the strategy. First of all, we all know what the cards do. We have a brand new insane card in Black World Greymon that you can play, which has Digiburst 3 to play level play a level 3 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost, and its ESS is insane. When attacking, you can delete one of your other Digimon to unsuspend this Digimon. You really do need 4 of this card. It's really important. I don't really know why I'm not playing 4. I must have taken this list from somewhere old. But yeah, you really want 4 of this, so cut something. You really want to keep Chimeramon though, Lady Devimon. So maybe you can do like this. You really want to keep the Lady Devimon as well, because Lady Devimon is important to drawing, so you can get to your strategy quickly. But Lilithmon, Jax Raid, we have Omnimod Zwart. We already know what Omnimod Zwart does, being able to play 2 guys from your trash when evolving, and Mega Digimon Fusion. So, and of course we have the brand new Chaos Gallantmon, which lets you delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon on Digivolving, and then once per turn, when one of your Digimon is deleted, you can play 1 level 3 Digimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. Make your board even bigger whenever you delete one of your own Digimon. So really, you're kind of just like replacing one of your Digimon at the end of the day. Well, let's talk about Lilith Loop before my throat goes out, because I've been talking for almost an hour straight. Lilith Loop, if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you may return up to 2 purple option cards from your trash without paying into your hand, and then obviously when you play an option card, you can gain 2 memory. So how does this work? Well, you need to have Lilithmon, Mega Digimon Fusion, Tai, or Takumi, things like that, right? So you play some Jack Raid just to gain enough memory to make this all work, but you evolve into Lilithmon, get the Jack Raid back, use Mega Digimon Fusion to evolve into Omnimod Zwart. Omnimod Zwart plays a level 5, 2 level 5s from your trash. Usually one of them can be Chimeramon, just delete one of your opponent's Digimon, but it can really be anything you want, right? Then you attack with Omnimod Zwart. In an ideal world, you do have access to Black World Growlmon, so that you can attack twice with Omnimod Zwart, but you attack with Omnimod Zwart, putting the Lilithmon back into your hand, and then the Lilithmon can be then evolved into one of the other level 5s that your Omnimod Zwart just got back, to bring back Mega Digimon Fusion, as well as back some Jack Raids if you want. And then you evolve so whenever you evolve Lilithmon, you can play another Jack Raid, which will automatically gain you more memory because of the fact that you should already have 10 in your trash, because that's the whole reason why you're able to get things back, as well as, you know, be able to gain memory whenever you use an option card. And then you can play the Mega Digimon Fusion again to evolve into another Omnimod Zwart, get 2 more guys on the board, attack a few times with Omnimod Zwart, because you should be getting Black War Growlmons if you don't have Chimeramons, or you don't need to use Chimeramons, so you can attack multiple times with that. And then by the end of doing that as many times as you want, because you can do this as many times as you want, really, as many times as you are able to attack, you can do this effect with different Digimon, obviously not with the same Digimon. You can only put back 1 level 6 at the end of the day. But you should end your board, assuming that you had just a Lilithmon on board, right, and nothing else. You can evolve into the Zwart, get 2 guys on the board. If you don't want to delete anything, put the Lilithmon back into your hand, evolve again into Lilithmon, and evolve that Lilithmon into another Zwart, which gets you another 2 guys on board. So you should end it, I believe, with like 1 + 2 + 2, right? Is that 1? Yeah, so 1 + 2 + 2, that's like 6 Digimon. So like if you have 2 Zwarts in hand, and just 1 of any of these cards, and a Lilithmon on board, then you can get 6 Digimon on board, putting your opponent in a checkmate position, because these guys will all have 2 strong DP for like board clearing, for general board clearing cards to deal with, unless your opponent somehow has like quadruple Flower Cannon into a Nidhogg. Like, they won't be able to respond to your board. So that's the point of Lilith Loop, is to put your opponent in such a position to where it's literally unresponsive. There is nothing they can do to delete all your guys at the same time, and you should be able to swing a few times per game. And you're already swinging because of Zwart, and you're already deleting because of Zwart's swinging, and it's just insane. Of course, 1 of them will be deleted at the end of the turn because of Mega Digimon Fusion, so 2 of them will be deleted probably, which means you're probably going to end your turn with like 4 Digimon instead of 6. But if you're playing things like Black War Growlmon or Chaos Gallantmon or something like that, you're able to delete and replenish as well, so that's pretty handy. And keep in mind that whenever you're attacking, you can delete your own Omnimod Zwart, the one that's going to be deleted at the end of the turn anyways, to restand if you're attacking with a Black War Growlmon guy, which is really, really powerful. So it's one of these cards, one of these decks that you have to get good at, and you have to play a bunch so that you don't mess up the combo ever. But once you get good at this deck is insane. It took over Singapore whenever somebody quote unquote created it, it was everyone loved the deck and hated the deck because the deck takes forever to play sometimes. So definitely something I'm interested in trying out because I just love the cheese factor that this deck can do. But of course, it is still like a combo deck, so it's going to lose to itself a lot. My list plays 2 because I bricked a lot when I was playing 3, but 3 is probably the safer number. But this deck has bricking potential because you are playing a lot of options and a lot of high level Digimon, which means that you can very easily brick with this deck. That's why we play things like Digimon and AURABOMB and Gabumon and Demimeramon, like these cards that can help you draw. And then of course we're playing Takumi that can also help you draw. And also keep in mind that if you play the tie and you attack twice with Omnimod Zwart here, then you're checking for security if you have a tie on board. So just another thing to keep in mind. So even if you end your board with only like 3 Digimon because you have to keep deleting your own Digimon, then that's still like horribly difficult for your opponent to respond to. So that's Lilith Loop. These other decks we're going to talk about are a lot less exciting in the scheme of things. I just really like Lilith Loop. It was just the first one there. Techdemon Chaos. It's the same thing, purple deck, but instead of focusing on the Lilith Loop, you have access to like the Mega Digimon Fusion, but we're not doing the Lilith Loop strategy. We're just kind of playing good cards. So Lilith Loop, but with good cards, kind of. Chaos Galmon is a great card. We just talked about it earlier. It's 4 costs to evolve, while being able to delete a bunch of your opponent's Digimon, while also being able to respawn Digimon on deletion is great. Techdemon, we'll talk about more in Techdemon in the next deck because the next deck is a Techdemon deck, and I love Techdemon. We got Hell's Gate, Tai, Omnimod Zwart, yada yada yada. Good Devimon. So this is just good cards deck purple. And then the last deck I play is probably my favorite purple deck that I made a while ago that has been really successful for me. Not as exciting as Lilith Loop, but I love Techdemon. I think Techdemon is such a cool deck. So this is an OTK purple. Techdemon has the ability of when attacking, you can activate one of these effects. At first I was kind of like, Techdemon kind of sucks, but then I thought about more and I played it and I was like, I love this card. You can either gain a memory when attacking, gain 2000 DP, which will help you beat over some guys, or delete up to 3 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon, which is really good in a yellow dominated meta where they have big boards. The reason why that's cool is because we can easily put ourselves to where we have 0 Digimon on board when attacking with something like Black War Greymon, because we delete one of our own Digimon to restand. So we attack, use this ability to restand first, and then activate our when attacking abilities to activate all 3 at once, because this ability says when attacking, activate one of the following effects. If you have no other Digimon in play, activate all of them instead. So you can become a 13k attacker that gains a memory when attacking and deletes the yellow Digimon on the board, which is insane. And another way for us to continuously restand to gain the effect is Demonic Disaster. Delete one of your other Digimon to unsuspend one of your purple Digimon, and then all of a sudden you have an empty board and you can attack again with Techdemon. Then we do have cards such as Garurumon as well, which does the same thing as does the same thing here. Unsuspend one of your Digimon to delete one of your Digimon to unsuspend, kind of focusing on the unsuspending strategy. We also play cards such as Metal Garurumon, because Metal Garurumon has that ability. Whenever you attack, you may play a purple level 3 Digimon card from your charge without paying its memory cost, and on-play effects don't activate. So you attack, this is not once per turn by the way, you attack, you put a dude on the board, you delete it with War Greymon to unsuspend. Then you attack, you put another guy on the board, and now you have 2 guys on the board while attacking twice, assuming you didn't die in the checks. This thing gives me War Greymon vibes though, where if you die in security checks, you're kind of like in a bad spot. But at least with Techdemon, you get all the effects and then you die, so you can gain memory to put yourself in better positions. We're still playing Zwart. We're playing probably one of the best option cards in purple, which is Earthshaker. Delete one of your opponent's unsuspended level 4 and unsuspended level 5. So you can delete 2 of your opponent's active level 4 or 5 Digimon, which is really strong. And we play Black Greymon because if one of your Digimon are deleted that turn, you can gain security attack +1. So obviously you can see the combo. You play this under this, then you get security attack +1. You attack twice, yada yada yada. And yeah, that's just the deck here. And then this guy gives you more DP. Whenever your other Digimon deleted, this Digimon gets 2000 DP for the turn, just so that we don't die in security checks. You can obviously play more Demimeramon if you want to, but I like not dying to security checks. And this video has been almost an hour, so I'm going to end it here. That is 17 different decks that you can play in the set 4 meta. I'm really excited, or set 5 meta, I apologize. I'm really excited about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what decks you want to play the most. Let me know if there's any decks that I missed, because I might make a part 2 to this video where I talk about decks instead of like the new decks, the updated decks. Like we can talk about updated Ragnar, we can talk about where's some other decks that are really good. Maybe more yellow decks, maybe like another War Greymon deck, because War Greymon doesn't really die. It's just that Lord Nightmon is kind of superior, maybe, but maybe people in America, people in English-speaking countries will make War Greymon better. I don't know. We did talk about some updated decks, but those are the ones that come to mind. Maybe we can talk about OTK Green some more and stuff like that. But I'm going to attempt to make individual deck profiles with matches of each of these decks. Whether I can actually do it or not depends on if I can get the actual cards. Worst case scenario, I make tabletop simulator videos. I'd rather make the IRL videos, because IRL videos are just easier for me not to just record, because it's easier for me to get a camera and record the deck and record games, and then it also saves me time, because playing on tabletop simulator takes forever, dude. Sometimes it is insanely long, so playing IRL is much easier. So if I can get all the cards, we'll try to make a video over all of these decks. But yeah, like the video if you haven't already. It would support me a bunch. My throat is dying. I'm gonna go back to playing Pokemon Unite, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.